Hi everybody, it's Justin with Epic Game Time, and I'm here bringing you 42 Swan combo. That's right, 42 land Swan combo. I've streamed this for a while now. I absolutely love this deck, and I've had a lot of people ask me about it. So, I figure I'd go ahead and make a video, teach you all how to play the deck, the ins and outs of it, but first, let's give credit where credit's due. That credit goes to Grayson Atkinson. This dude took it to a first place finish at Idaho States. So thank you, Grayson, for being brave enough to actually take a budget list to a states tournament and awesome enough to win it. Let's go over the deck real quick. It is 3 Halimar Depths, 4 Highland Lake, 3 Izzet Gilgates. Scroll on down, there's a lot of lands. Swift Water Cliffs and 4 Shivan Reefs, 20 mountains, and 4 islands. Now I know a lot of people are saying, Justin, that's really budget land. Yes, I did that on purpose, actually. So you could make the lands a bit smoother with 3 steam vents, 4 cascade bluffs, or opposite, however you want to do that. You can add sulfur falls. There are a lot of cards you could add land-wise to make the land smoother. The point of me not doing it in this video is you're going to see it's not necessarily needed. You can run this deck with these lands effectively in a tournament and still do well. So if you're on a really tight budget, this will be the deck for you. It's very powerful, it does extremely powerful things, and you don't have to spend $150 on a land base. So let's go over the spells. Molten Vortex, this is strictly there for those early creature decks. It helps us get rid of like Llanowar Elves, it'll help us get rid of Noble Hierarchs, stuff like that. And if anything starts beating us like Goblin Guide, that'll help too. Then we have my favorite card in this deck, Treasure Hunt. Once you start getting good with the deck, you'll realize Treasure Hunt can do numerous things. My favorite thing to do is Treasure Hunt into a Seismic Assault. And because we're running 42 land, it does happen from time to time where we will draw 10 lands into a Seismic Assault, play Seismic Assault, dome our opponent for 20. It's a very big possibility. I would never go below 4. Treasure Hunt is one of the lich pins of this deck. We have 1 Days Undoing. Days Undoing is great for just a restart button. Let's say our hand's low, or we just don't really have anything, and we only have a Seismic, we don't have a Birds in Hand, we don't have a Treasure Hunt. We can draw Days Undoing, play it, and pitch all of our lands first, play the Days Undoing, and then if our opponent's low enough and we draw a fresh 7 on our opponent's upkeep, we can then sling the rest of the lands for the win. So it's a really good one-of. I wouldn't really go more than one-of, but it's great. I love having it in here. And you'll notice there are some one-ofs in this deck, but because we draw so much with Swans, it's actually pretty good. And we draw with Treasure Hunt. Here's another one I love, Countryside Crusher. Great against Storm, and it's really good against a deck that doesn't have a creature removal right away. If your opponent cannot remove Countryside Crusher with the quickness, this creature takes over game very quickly. But that's actually not why I have him in the deck. A lot of people will use him as the beater and will put 4 of them in your deck. I don't like it. 1-of's fine. What he's really good at, though, is getting your spells. With a 42 land deck, you draw a lot of lands. You do flood out. Flooding is just a thing that happens in this deck. Countryside Crusher, if you untap with this card, it will not flood you out because it will discard lands until you hit a spell. So that's why I really dig Countryside Crusher. Then we have Fateful Showdown. I use this cards for all kinds of things. Let's say I treasure hunted and I have too many lands, and our opponent is at like 15 life, but I don't have a Seismic Assault. Before the end of turn, I'll just Fateful Showdown, deal like 10 damage to our opponent, and then draw a new, get a new hand. Also, it's great for counter checking. At the end of your opponent's turn, Fateful Showdown. See if your opponent will counter it. Most of the time, they will counter the Fateful Showdown, thinking it means more to you than it does, which then opens the way for a Seismic Assault or Swans to resolve. We have 1 Lightning Bolt. It's really just a really good one-of, especially once you comboing off with Seismic and Swans, sometimes there are points where you just need that extra 3 damage, so it's great to draw into. Then, of course, Seismic Assault. Seismic Assault is the best card in our deck. 3 red, an enchantment, discard a land card. Seismic Assault deals 2 damage to target creature or player. This is how you're going to kill your opponent and how we're going to win all of our games. And then Swans, the second part of the combo. Swans of Bryn Argol, flying, 4/3. If a source would deal damage to Swans, prevent that damage. The source's controller draws cards equal to the damage prevented that way. So how this works is we use Seismic Assault, we ditch a land, and we throw it to Swans of Bryn Argol. Swans prevents the damage, we draw 2 cards. And we repeat that process, drawing lands the entire time because we have 42 lands in our deck. So we just draw 2 cards, and we wait until we have enough redundant lands in our hand to stop throwing them at the birds and aim at our opponent's dome, and then deal 20 damage or however much damage we need to deal that way. Real quick, we'll go over the sideboard. This is pretty basic. You can change it however you like. This just, for Magic Online, this seems to be the best for me. Of course, remember, make sure your sideboard is against your meta at your local game store, wherever you're playing. We have 2 Tormod's Crypts. This deals with Storm. This deals with those Grixis and Esper Delve decks. This deals with Dredge, obviously, Living End. It's just a really great 2 of that deals with handles and deals with a lot of decks. Then we have Guttural Response. I know it looks strange, but there is something so sweet about being able to resolve something with 1 land up. They counter it, and you Guttural Response, and then win. I love this card. It's great against Grixis, it's great against Esper, and it's wonderful against blue-white control, which is starting to see an upswing, especially now that Saffron Olive is getting ready to play it. We have Roast. This is your Tasigur and your Gurmag Angler killers. Smash the Smithereens. Just great against really anything that's going to run artifacts against us. We really don't care about Chalice of the Void that much. But if they do Chalice for 3 eventually, Smash the Smithereens can get them. Of course, Affinity is the main reason we have that in there. We have a second Days Undoing. Now, Days Undoing is amazing against control. Seems weird, sounds weird, but it actually is. For what we were trying to do when I explained it the first time, we want to try to get them low, fill up our hand on our upkeep, and then get them. So I love it against control. Grixis is my favorite thing to use Days Undoing against. So we have a second one in there. Laboratory Maniac is obviously our hedge against Leyline of Sanctity. We have no way to beat, minus Countryside Crusher, we have no way to beat Leyline of Sanctity. Laboratory Maniac does that for us. We have Anger of the Gods. This is just all name an aggro deck. This thing beats up on it. And Ricochet Trap. Ricochet Trap is a recent entry for me. Of course, it counters spells. But my favorite one, besides dealing with counters, my favorite thing Ricochet Trap does is redirects Ancestral Visions back to me. That feels so good and frustrates our opponent so much. I've had people just give up, and it's wonderful. So let's go ahead and get into some games now that you've seen the deck, and I will be right back for round 1. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button below. Also catch the next video coming up. I'm Justin for Epic Game Time. You've been my Epic viewers. I hope you all do something epic today. Thank you.